and the most loyal, influential audience. According to an independent research study by the polling firm Aviterus, for the second consecutive year, KBLA Talk 1580 is the most trustworthy, reliable, and credible news source for Black audiences and beyond in Southern California. Let KBLA Talk 1580 power your advertising dollars. Our omni-channel custom marketing solutions are specifically tailored to connect with your ideal target audience. We leverage audio, podcasts, streaming, digital, social media, and local activations to get your message out to the Black community. Get in touch with our advertising team today at advertising@KBLA1580.com. That's advertising@KBLA1580.com. KBLA 1580. We've got you, Black.
KBLA Talk 1580. Man, I love that song. And it seems very appropriate for the guest we have joining me right now. She got letters after her name, MSN, RN, FNP-C. We're going to find out what all those mean. PHN. She's a nurse practitioner at Planned Parenthood of Los Angeles. She's provided clinical care directly to patients ever since 2015. She's an evidence-based clinician and an activist looking at all of this through the lens of racial equity and anti-racism. She helped start Planned Parenthood Los Angeles Black Health Initiative in 2020 to promote the well-being of Black communities right here. Kara James, welcome.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you, Dominique. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. Let me say that I'm a Black woman first. I'm a Black mother. I'm a motivator, mentor. I'm a hood chick. Through and through.
I don't see those letters after your name.
Yeah, I'm a high school dropout. So
what?
So all those initials are so important because it took a whole lot of hard work.
A high school dropout who goes on to be a nurse practitioner.
Yes.
Wow, how does that happen?
Well, focus, dedication.
Yeah.
Yeah, life happens and you have to continue to keep pushing on regardless of everything that happens to you.
Call yourself a hood chick, and what does that mean to you?
Well, that's my lived experience.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to remember all the hard times, the trials, the tribulations when life got hard. My kid's father committed suicide in the LA County jail when my daughters were 4 and 1. I have to still continue to push on. So I have to take you take the experiences in life, but those are the patients that I see. I have the opportunity to inspire and empower young sisters every single day.
Yeah.
And I take that job seriously.
Yeah. Black woman first. What does that mean?
Oh, Black women first.
I mean, in the health space, that's actually a really bold statement, right?
I mean, I have 3 Black daughters. And so to be able to empower, to elevate, to inspire Black women, that is so important. It's my focus in life.
Yeah, I mean, one of the reasons I'm probing on this is because I think as parents but also as individuals upon ourselves, we're quick to give up on ourselves and our kids. Oh, well, this one's no good. They didn't graduate. They're hanging out or doing the things that young people do, right? Instead of saying, thinking this could be the nurse that saves your life, right? In another few years.
Yeah, it's interesting. I have a neighbor, one of my closest neighbors. Well, I have a few neighbors who didn't let their kids play with me. And so one of my neighbors, her older sister, had to pick me up down the street from the house so her daughter could so her sister could hang out with me. And it's so interesting because you would judge me, but now it's like, oh, you're so amazing. Oh, you're doing such wonderful. But I'm the same person that I was back then.
Same person you wouldn't let your kid play with.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
But you don't hold a grudge.
No, I don't hold a grudge.
That's a beautiful thing.
You know, I took some flowers to one of my neighbors. Another neighbor her daughter couldn't hang out with me.
Why? I mean, how bad were you, Kara?
I was kind of bad. I dropped out of high school. I went to St. Bernard's High School, but they weren't investing in me.
Yeah.
It wasn't a black school, so they didn't
No
care if I
doubt.
was getting in trouble. They
Right.
allowed me. If you're gonna drop out, go ahead, drop out. It didn't
Right.
matter if I was smart. None of that made a difference.
How did you collect yourself?
Well, I didn't come home one night on a Friday night. It was the height of gang violence. I mean, the murder rate was triple what it is now.
Right?
Yeah. So yes.
Put a pin in that. All of y'all that are listening to these Law and Order Republicans saying how scary life is right now.
Oh, yeah.
The murder rate was triple what it is now. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so I didn't come home one night, and when I got home, my mom was like, okay, you need to pick a state. You got New Orleans, Fresno, or Wheaton, Illinois. And I tried to talk my way out of it. She's like, oh, no, you need to pick a state. So I chose New Orleans because where my family lived was in Fresno or Illinois was not a black area. And so I went shopping on Sunday. Monday, I lived in New Orleans, and that changed my life.
Whoa. Your mom took radical action. She sent you away.
Yeah, well, she needed to. So I had a beauty salon called Cornrows in Carson, empowering young sisters. And one day she said to me, I thought you'd be dead by now. And for me to have brothers and for her to say that, to me, it was just, it made me kind of take a pause and think like, wow, my life was like that. Like for you, I was going to funerals regularly. And so she was scared. I could only imagine as a parent what she felt like when I was really in the thick of getting in trouble.
Yeah, she gave you a choice. You had three to choose from. And then now let's get to these letters. MSN.
Master Science Nursing.
RN.
Registered Nurse.
FNP-C.
Family Nurse Practitioner Certified.
PHN.
Public Health Nurse.
That's a lot of studying and a lot of certifying.
It is. It was. And it took a lot of hard work and a lot of focus.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, I stayed on my A game.
After not graduating from high school.
Well, in college, I had all A's. But I was smart enough. I just wasn't focused. I wanted to do hood stuff.
Right. But you never gave up on yourself?
Never. It was always, okay, when I was on my behind, I had to figure out a way. I always had to think about, okay, what's next? How do you get out from here? In horrible relationships and, just being in bad situations, my thought is always, okay, so how do I get out? How do I overcome? And so, I always talk to sisters when I have my patients, like, what's next? Where do you see yourself in the future, especially young ones, but not even just young, older too? What is your next step? It's never too late. How do you empower yourself to change your life? And that's where my focus has always been.
We are having this national conversation now about Black maternal mortality, the disparities, particularly for Black mamas, in dying, in getting very ill. I think the incident with Serena Williams where she almost died in childbirth and being the highest paid athlete in the world still couldn't get doctors to listen to her. For many, this is surprising. I am guessing for you, it wasn't surprising.
It's not surprising for me. I mean, Black women are 3 to 4 times more likely to die in childbirth. Black babies are 2 to 3 times more likely to die before their first birthday. And so these are statistics now. So with the loss of access to abortion across this country, that number is going to go up, they believe, 33%. Now, so your life is in danger. when I talk to my patients, they don't know those statistics. They don't not necessarily realize, but I want to share this. I had a patient that came into the clinic. She's about 8 months pregnant. This was her second baby in the year, within that year.
Wow.
And this was her first time coming to the clinic. So she's big pregnant, like she knew to come to the doctor. Now, she wasn't even coming to the clinic because she was wanted for pregnancy assistance or any help with health care. She needed housing assistance. And so she needed a pregnancy test for that. But she had such a horrible experience with her first child from the doctor, the white provider who saw her the first time, that she was willing to risk her life and her baby's life. And that's what experience many people have. Young women, not even just young women, black women have that same experience. And they ignore them, ignore their pain, ignore their questions, ignore. So she didn't know that she had options of insurance. She had insurance, but she didn't know she could change a provider. She didn't know she had options. And that's something that a lot of people don't realize, like educating themselves and realizing that you don't have to see this provider. You have other chances. You have other choices.
Of course, my child is a teenager, but I didn't know any of those things when and I read the news and do, this is what I do. Like, I had no idea, to my then husband's credit, he had worked in an emergency room and he was on their butts. No, she's not going to do that. Yes, she needs to do that. When are you going to do this? I didn't know.
Well, something you said. Now, Serena had all this money. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how educated you are. It doesn't matter how much money you make. Black women continue to die unnecessarily because of racism. I had a horrible experience myself. It doesn't matter. Nothing makes a difference. Nothing empowers you. That's why it's so important to educate yourself, empower yourself. I think doulas will be very helpful in that realm.
I'm laughing because I didn't even know what a doula was,
Right.
Until I really needed one.
So, it didn't matter how educated you
Right.
are. Now, you're focused.
And I'm a
attention.
holistic
Right.
person. Like, I take herbs and work out. I had no idea. I'm like, doula, what's that? You need one. Okay,
right.
Nothing, whatever it is, you need one right now.
Nothing makes a difference. Now, so with Serena, I heard this story. I heard this story about Serena's husband. Now, he was the one acting the fool. So this is a white billionaire.
Right.
But it took him to act the fool because they didn't care that she said that she was having a difficult time breathing and she thought she was had a blood clot.
Yeah.
The nurse said, "Oh, well, no, it's probably the medication." And if it was an average woman, she would have died. She would have said, "Oh, okay." Now, Serena knew to advocate for herself, but an average woman would have died.
We've seen her advocating for herself with the umpires.
Right.
We know she knows. But it's one thing when you're in your top form. It's another thing when you're in the middle of having a baby. You're not your most warrior self,
Yeah, you need somebody else in there. That's why, like mamas, I was in there with my mama. My mama was there with me. I think to be able to empower others as we're in this room, we need to be empowered.
So when you say nothing makes a difference, you're saying nothing makes a difference in the way black women are treated in the medical system, but something can make a difference in that situation, i.e. an advocate,
yes,
i.e. a doula, a midwife, a black doctor, a black nurse.
Yes. But we need more black providers, in the medical field. That is something that I'm always encouraging. Okay, so what's your interest? Where do you want to go? What's your next step? Nothing should be able to stop you. But we have to be encouraged. We have less black doctors now than we had in the 60s.
That's insane. CDU has a medical school now, so hopefully that's going to, at least on the West Coast, maybe change a little, but we got a long way to go. We're talking with Kara James, and you said that you think the mortality for black women in childbirth and the chances that your child could die in the first year will likely go up now that Roe v. Wade has been overturned. I want to understand what that means and why you say that when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
The station you turn to when you've had it up to gear with cultural incompetence. KBLA Talk 1580.
The Supplemental Security Income Program provides monthly payments to help meet basic needs, like putting food on the table, paying the rent, or buying new shoes for growing feet. You may qualify if your income and financial resources are low, and you are 65 or older, or an adult or child with a disability or who is blind. Call 1-800-772-1213 or go to ssa.gov/SSI to start to apply. Produced by Social Security at U.S. taxpayer expense.
A Gain Scent Bead story. Jim was at the laundromat when he heard his ear said, "Maraca, senor," but his nose said, "Hey, freshest scent ever." Following his nose, Jim found a man pouring a bottle of Gain Scent Beads into the washer. The scent, the freshness. Jim blurted, "Sir, your scent Maraca smell amazing." Actually, Jim, most noses call them Gain Scent Beads. Try Gain Scent Beads, way fresher than detergent alone.
My mom has taken up going to the park to practice yoga.
My dad's going to a club, but not a book club, a salsa club.
Finding new hobbies comes with age.
My mom has started getting lost and not knowing where she's going.
Becoming lost or disoriented doesn't. Confusion with time or place may be a sign of Alzheimer's. An early diagnosis can help improve the quality of life for your loved one. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQuil nights. Explore our products at ZQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Talking with Nurse Kara James. And, you know, let's see. In the YouTube chat, Ben Frank says, "Bless the real health warriors." And Molly Bell says, "To God be the glory. Get our health together. Reparations is repair, whatever it takes to make us whole. Teach on." So you're getting some love, Kara, in the chat. You said that now that Roe versus Wade has been overturned, now that the Supreme Court has decided to take away a right that women have had for 50 years in this country, you expect that, not just you, researchers expect that to increase the number of black babies that die in their first year, black women who die in childbirth, which is already alarmingly high. Why is that the case?
I mean, when you think of forcing a woman to carry an unwanted pregnancy to term, stopping abortion access does not end abortion. Some women who have the access, they have enough money, they can travel out of state. But what about those who will try risky self-abortion procedures, or these quack doctors who will, do anything for money? That by itself is huge. We do not understand. So I was talking to these young sisters who go to HBCU, and they go to historically black college. 75% of historically black colleges are in areas that do not have access to abortion. Only one of these 5 sisters had a long-term birth control method. You often, as black women, you're taught, well, just don't have sex. Well, that's setting you up for failure. And so they were traveling to this state that didn't have access to abortion, told not to have sex, and nobody had any type of birth control. I mean, so that by itself, that's going to increase the number of women who are having children. They don't have enough access to OBGYNs in these states that don't have access to abortion. Doctors are leaving. They're scared to be, they're going to be prosecuted. You can't provide care. If your patient is in danger, her life is in danger, you have to see an ethics committee first. You have to when do you not let her die? Because you're afraid that you're going to go to jail if you provide her, say, an aspiration. If you're having a miscarriage, your life is in danger. Pregnancy can be a death sentence. So if you're having a miscarriage, you still need an aspiration. But many doctors are not able to provide that service because they're scared to they're going to be prosecuted.
Explain what an aspiration is.
Well, aspiration is if you are having it's a technical word for when you're having it's basically an abortion, but if it's clearing out the product of conception.
Right. So even if even if you already had a miscarriage, it's whatever's left.
Yes, right? Yes. And so now, if you have a miscarriage, you need to find a provider who's willing to do an aspiration. But the doctors are scared to go to jail. So even the number of OBGYNs in these places who have lack of access to abortion, there are not enough doctors to provide quality care for these patients. So where are they going to go?
Now, for Black people, it can be a bit, Black women, Black people, it can be a bit of I'll say a conundrum, because many Black people, especially in those states you're talking about, down south, are conservative socially, right? They're church people, whatever. But we're kind of in this, I don't want to call it hypocrisy, denial, whatever it is. Compartmentalization, where just like the choir director is gay, all these people are gay, but we're going to pretend we don't like gay people. We know that our children are going to HBCUs and we know they're going to have sex. You did it while you were in college, but we're going to just tell them to not have sex. We are going to, men and women, Black men and women, are going to say we're against abortion. No, I don't think anybody wants an abortion. No one's saying abortion is something, to do for fun. But we'll say we're against it, but in certain situations, they'll support it. They'll try to get one for their girlfriend or their wife. And I say that not to point the finger and condemn, but I'm pointing out this incongruency, because there's a lot of people that Black people that are acting like they're happy that abortion rights are restricted, but I don't think we're looking at the real actual impact on what that means for flesh and bone humans on the ground.
I mean, it'll be an increased foster kids. I mean, it'll pitch you. Some women, a woman who has 4 kids and didn't want to have the 5th. Now she's in poverty, not just for today, tomorrow, but for generations. I mean, that's the impact of lack of access will have.
And
I wanted to say, I was in Louisiana recently, and so when I was talking to a young sister, she didn't realize that if she had a miscarriage, that will put her life in danger. A lot of times people don't even realize that having the lack of access to abortion, if you are having a miscarriage, that changes your life too. I have 2 grown daughters. My daughters, their decision on where they want to live their life depends on if they have access to abortion. Not because they need to have an abortion, but what if they have a miscarriage? Their life can be endangered by just having a miscarriage.
Like that young lady who had a miscarriage, I can't remember her name right now, and then they were trying to prosecute her.
Yes. It's going to be more Black, and it's the Black women.
And she was Black,
yeah.
And it was because they said she didn't dispose of the, the miscarriage materials correctly, and then they tried to say she went to the hospital, couldn't get help, and they tried to say that it was an abortion or it was a murder or something.
And they're going to prosecute Black women. So who are they going to prosecute? They're looking at Black women. When I was in Louisiana, I met this young sister. This sister made $10 an hour. She was in school. But that was her. She had a good job. She worked at a very renowned hotel. And so to think that if she needed to wanted to have access to abortion, she couldn't afford it. She couldn't travel out of state. She didn't have the days off. She couldn't do anything. She would be forced to continue a pregnancy. And then, a lot of times we're thinking, I had a patient recently who was 40 years old who used birth control regularly, had been, her and her husband, married, decided they never wanted children. And despite that, she did what she was supposed to do. She still ended up pregnant. And so it's not just if people out here and not protecting themselves and just trying to have children or not, doing the things they need to do. But that can be someone in that situation too, where you did all the things you're supposed to do and you still ended up pregnant. But how, making sure she has access or empowering her, that's an empowered decision to be able to have an abortion, decide when, with whom, or when you are going to have children. It affects your education. It affects what type of job. All of those things are affected by when you decide to have children. No politician should be in that place to say, "Oh, well, no, you shouldn't." Yeah, I couldn't imagine a man being there saying, "Oh, okay, well, no, you can't. Oh, well, no, can't have that."
That would
service.
never happen.
Right.
Men have to get clearance to get Viagra or get their tubes tied or, have a baby for that matter. So I guess the question is, let's talk about Planned Parenthood a little bit, because I think one thing people don't understand is that Planned Parenthood doesn't just do abortions. Like, that's a very small part of what Planned Parenthood does.
I am a proud Planned Parenthood provider. I work with some compassionate sisters every single day, sisters and brothers, who are really dedicated and focusing on empowering, providing compassionate care to the community. It's a safe space. Planned Parenthood offers not just abortion access is a very small percent of the services that we provide. We offer STI testing. We have cervical cancer screening, breast exams, urinary tract infections. We offer vasectomies. Most people don't realize that we have behavioral health care at Planned Parenthood. So I have to go back to the Black Health Initiative. In 2020, I spearheaded the Black Health Initiative in direct response to the COVID-19 pandemic and the disparities that you saw there. But the pandemic also allowed the whole world to just be at pause, allowing us to witness the murders of Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, catapulting centuries of systemic racism and injustices that have been inflicted on the Black community to the world stage. Alexis McGill Johnson is a sister. She's our CEO of Planned Parenthood Federation. Her Twitter was on fire. Her social media was on fire. And Sue Dunlap, our amazing CEO at Planned Parenthood LA, sent out an email denouncing the horrors of white supremacy. And I responded to that email. Like, what are we going to do about it? What can we do? And so that was the blueprint of what would become the Black Health Initiative at Planned Parenthood Los Angeles.
Okay, and you're going to go a little deeper into that. Like, what is it made up of, and why is that important? When we come forward after news, traffic, and sports. Kara James, Dominique DiPrima, KBLA, Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Thanks for joining us on a Wednesday. I'm Mike Moore. Now, here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Dozens of protesters could be facing charges after the NYPD cleared the protest cams from the grounds of Columbia University. The university on Tuesday night asked the police to clear out the camp for the safety of all students. Police have also been responding to campus unrest in Los Angeles, California, where violence has broken out between pro-Palestinian and pro-Israeli protests at UCLA. In Maryland, Governor Wes Moore will deliver words of encouragement at the University of Maryland later this month. The governor has been asked to serve as the 2024 commencement speaker. Governor Moore is a Maryland native and the state's first black governor. The ceremony is set for May 20th at the SECU Stadium. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Why settle for ordinary when you can have extraordinary hair? Visit your local SoCal FS Cut and Color Salon today and let their team of expert stylists pamper you with affordable luxury. Get a free shampoo with every cut. Book your appointment today at fantasticsands.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Clippers don't have to worry about a game-time decision tonight for Kawhi Leonard. The team found out Tuesday afternoon that their leading scorer will not play in Game 5 against Dallas at Crypto.com. Kawhi still has inflammation in his right knee. This will be the third game game Kawhi has missed in the first-round series. The Clippers are 2-0 in this series without Kawhi. In the 2 wins, the Clippers are averaging 21 more points and shooting 50%. Don't get it twisted. No one in Clippers Nation is saying the team can contend for the Western Conference title without Kawhi. For the Clippers to go deep in the NBA playoffs, it's pretty much understood that they will need a healthy Kawhi Leonard. 7 p.m. tip-off tonight on TNT. After 1 month of the Major League Baseball season, Dodgers shortstop Mookie Betts leads the majors with a .377 batting average. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
We ask seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well-trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up.
Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your Senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
It's the Farewell Tour. Maze featuring Frankie Beverly and KBLA wants to send you and the special mom in your life. Sunday, May 12th at the Kia Forum.
Make sure I'm right, girl, before I let go.
Also featuring soul icon Anthony Hamilton.
You the best of me. Amazing, amazing, amazing.
And After 7. It's a Mother's Day celebration you won't forget. Listen in for your chance to win tickets. And don't forget to wear white. It's the Farewell Tour with Maze featuring Frankie Beverly.
When you use Bounce dryer sheets and your clothes look amazing, it's the sheet. Less static in your life? Yeah, it's the sheet. Smelling fresher than ever? It's the sheet. Oh, so soft fabric? Ooh la la. It's the sheet. Less wrinkles on your clothes? You know it's the sheet. Bounce dryer sheets. More freshness, more softness. Less static, less wrinkles. It's the sheet.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
City of Los Angeles tenants and landlords participating in the Emergency Renters Assistance Program, beware of scammers. Notifications about your application will only come from the City of LA in emails ending in lacity.org. Protect yourself. Contact the LA Housing Department by email at lahd.erap@lacity.org or call 866-557-7368 to check communications you receive about the program. You can also verify your application status at housing.lacity.org. That's housing.lacity.org.
Heard any other talk radio lately that sounds anything like this? We didn't think so. You're listening to Unapologetically Progressive, KBLA Talk 1580.
Kara James is my guest. She's a registered nurse, a family nurse practitioner. She's been working in all kinds of high-performance medical teams and cardiology, intensive care units. She's got a lot of letters after her name. A family nurse practitioner certificate, master's degree, clinical nurse leader, a lot of things. Now, we were talking about the Black Health Initiative, and you were sharing how that came out of 2020, all of the racial justice work that we did and continue to do, but really exploded internationally in 2020. And out of that, you spearheaded the Black Health Initiative. But what does it do? How does it function? What actually is it?
So let me say that the Black Health Initiative is our commitment to equality and justice at Planned Parenthood Los Angeles. And so now we have a Black Health Initiative clinic. That's our foundation clinic that focuses on Black health. When you walk into the clinic, you see the art on the wall, adorned on the wall are Black folks. You see the mission of the clinic. Your chances of seeing a Black provider is really high. We offer behavioral health care. So Black folks go through stuff all the time. So to be able to empower a patient, like, okay, you're stressed out. I see it. I understand. I have a provider for you, a young Black provider for you right here in the clinic. That's empowering. We offer prenatal care. We have a free legal clinic. We have the first Planned Parenthood Community Center. So we offer free legal assistance. It's holistic, compassionate health care. This is our first center. We're about to open our second Black Health Initiative clinic in Baldwin Hills.
Nice.
It's now a nationwide initiative. Planned Parenthood has
coming out of your brain.
Yeah. Planned Parenthood has 600 clinics across the nation. How do we empower every single person that comes into a clinic? Planned Parenthood Los Angeles is not a new place for care. We've been around for over 65 years. We have 24 health centers across Los Angeles County. We're doing the work, empowering folks. We have a Black Health Initiative education team who are out there in the community on the front line. I am so very proud of the work that we're doing. Organizations across this nation made these promises in 2020 to Black folks. But where are they now?
Hello.
Yeah, so Planned Parenthood is focused, dedicated, committed to the Black community.
And so the first clinic is where?
In Inglewood.
In Inglewood. So the second one will be in Baldwin Hills.
Yes.
But you said this is taking off across the country,
yes.
which does indicate follow-up. I'm sure you hear it all the time. It's in the chat. People say, well, the roots of Planned Parenthood, Margaret Sanger, eugenics, and I know that's true. I also know the roots of the United States, George Washington, slaveholder, slaughter of indigenous people, the roots of a lot of things that we're working on. Some we're still working on. Some are, healed. But the question right now is what resources are available to women? What is being done specifically for Black people? And especially in the climate we're in right now, where it's not just that our women's rights to control our own bodies and make our own decisions are being taken away, but access is getting harder because everything is expensive. And despite Obamacare, there's people that fall in between, make too much for a subsidy, but not enough to pay for health insurance. There are access challenges, as you've pointed out, Kara James, because doctors don't want to go to jail. So what is in our best interest right now today? Not what a TikTok video told you about something, in the distant past. What is working for us today? And I say that because I never want to ignore the elephant in the room. But I also think we get into this space, and you referred to it earlier well, I think it was off the air, talking about the misinformation that goes around about our bodies and what works and what doesn't work, and this sort of hack your own abortion. I can just imagine the videos, right? And I feel like we as Black people are, for whatever reasons, especially susceptible, maybe because we're targeted more, to misinformation and disinformation.
The most powerful sister that I've ever met is a Black woman. We don't walk into a space because we don't know any better. You know, when I went to an abortion clinic, I knew where I needed to be, and I went on purpose. So we don't make decisions just haphazard, like, oh, you're forced into this. We don't know better. We are very, very powerful beings. And so when we do things on purpose. So it always baffles me to say, oh, well, you know, you're been bamboozled. No, we know what we're doing. We have the opportunity to educate and empower ourselves. There's so much false information out there. Like, as you said, you know, you have the TikTok world, which TikTok is not bad, but we need to at least Google the information. Like, you know,
double check.
They could tell you anything and put a black face on and say, oh, yeah, run with this, you know, believe this. And we should not. We should be able to Google, empower ourselves. There are so many fables or tales from history, and some of it is based on truth. But then we don't look further to say, oh, my mama said, my auntie said, don't do this, or, you know. But it's important to educate, empower yourself when it comes down to healthcare. Racism impacts every single aspect of our life. Education, your job, the communities that we live in, the unsafe communities, housing. It impacts transportation. It impacts every single health aspect of our life, including healthcare. Black folks are likely to die at earlier ages of all causes because of racism. We have to not fall for the okie doke. We have to empower ourselves, educate ourselves. When we have issues, it could be diabetes, heart disease. You know, it's not okay to take your medication for if you're having mental health challenges. But if you have a heart disease, it's okay. I mean, we need to empower ourselves, even with if it's behavioral health. We should see therapists. Therapists are empowering. You know, we go through so much every day. So to be able to speak to somebody makes a huge difference. So for us at Planned Parenthood to provide holistic health care is really important. Like wraparound services, we need more than just what's there. You know, regular health care. I need behavioral health. I need the legal clinic. I need I need access to everything. We have community health workers at Planned Parenthood. I mean, it's a wraparound services to provide holistic health care for our patients.
Do you think part of the misinformation right now is because Roe versus Wade has been overturned and various states that are controlled by Republicans have created additional restrictions, not just on abortion, but birth control, yep.
Yeah. IVF.
Yeah, right. In vitro fertilization, care, transgender care, and all kinds of other things that people think it's like that in every state now.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, I worry that we think, well, I can't get health care in Texas. I don't have a right to choose, or I can't get the care that I need in Arkansas, so I must not be able to get it in California.
Well, it is it's so much misinformation. Even when my patients are here, they don't realize, like, we're not safe because we're in California. You know, you think it's okay, well, California, you don't have to do anything. No, California, the political winds, if they shift, we lose access to abortion or birth control. You know, they're gunning for birth control. They're gunning for gender care. All those things are on the line. So it doesn't matter that you're in California. We are not safe. The fact that my 3 daughters have less constitutional rights than I had is horrendous.
Yeah, I don't know if people are paying enough attention in Arizona, where they've already where they went back to that 1865 law, and then they voted to overturn it because it was making Republicans look bad. Those activists they're not done. They want human life to start at conception, which means the minute the sperm and the egg meet.
But who's going to be impacted? Who's going to be impacted the most? I mean, if you could just travel somewhere else, you're okay. But it's going to be Black women who will be impacted the most. Racism continues to impact, again, every single aspect of our life. The trials of racism and oppression is what's gonna drive access to abortion care. You're not being paid the same amount. You don't have the time off of work. They're not trying to provide you health, child care, housing, transportation.
Right. I mean, the reason I'm pointing out point of conception is just to back up what you were saying about birth control for people who are saying, oh, they'd never come for our birth control, because really what the people they want to have more babies are white people. They don't want you and me to have more babies. So, of course, they'll give you birth control. But that's not where we're heading. If you look at what's happening in these red states, they are trying to make the moment of the baby's personhood earlier and earlier and earlier and earlier to where it would actually preclude birth control at some point.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, and that's what they're gunning for too. Like, we think we have access. We don't. We're not safe here. Period. I mean, you're not thinking. They don't think. We don't always think about. Okay, they wouldn't take away birth control, but they would take away birth control.
Yeah. Well, folks were saying that about, Roe v. Wade, that we were not going to lose those rights. In fact, those Supreme Court justices, 3 of them lied about it in front of the Senate, and then turned right around and did it. And Trump has already mentioned his willingness to support. Well, now he's backing off of it because he's running for re-election. But in the past, he signaled he's willing to support a national ban. And we know that's where they're headed. And I, if you think it's not going to contain birth control as part of that, I think we're being naive. We're talking with Kara James, and I'm Dominique DiPrima. This is KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Do you support public education? More than 38,000 educators at United Teachers Los Angeles do too. Together, we have fought for a better public education for our students and communities, and having you on our side has been essential in our fight for better public schools. Together, we will continue to work for public schools with green spaces, more mental health staff, smaller class sizes at every grade level, and a higher investment in the Black Student Achievement Plan. We are UTLA, and you make us stronger. Tips to help improve your credit score in 2024. Establishing credit is an important key to achieving financial health, but building a credit history from scratch can feel challenging since you need credit to build credit. First, what does it mean to build credit? All consumers have a score between 300 and 850. You want your score to be as high as possible as lenders look at your credit score to make loan and credit decisions. A good credit score shows you have a track record of borrowing money responsibly. Remember, it's never too late to build or rebuild your credit. This segment is sponsored by J.P. Morgan Chase & Company.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminding you that we keep us safe. Pro Football Hall of Famer and urban peace pioneer Jim Brown believed in just that. So he founded the Amera I Can Foundation for Social Change in 1988, focusing on at-risk and high-risk youth in underserved schools and juvenile detention facilities, as well as adult incarceration and reentry initiatives. The core of the Amera I Can program is its 15-chapter life skills curriculum. Mastery of these skills allows individuals to meet their academic potential, conform their behavior to acceptable societal standards, and improve the quality of their lives by equipping them with what they need to confidently and successfully contribute to society. Today, the foundation is led by its president, Monique Brown, who has been actively involved in the organization for more than 25 years. The Amera I Can Foundation continues its work in memory of its founder, actor, philanthropist, and NFL legend Jim Brown. To get involved or make a donation, please visit AmeriICanCommunity.partners. That's AmeriICanCommunity.partners. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
My mom has taken up going to the park to practice yoga.
My dad's going to a club, but not a book club, a salsa club.
Finding new hobbies comes with age.
My mom has started getting lost and not knowing where she's going.
Becoming lost or disoriented doesn't. Confusion with time or place may be a sign of Alzheimer's. An early diagnosis can help improve the quality of life for your loved one. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
That was another way. I would smoke once an hour. That didn't work either. All that would happen at some point of the day, I would end up doubling up. Other ways that I tried to quit was I stopped buying cigarettes totally. But if I took 3 puffs off of 15 friends, those didn't count because they weren't my cigarettes and they weren't full cigarettes. I went through a lot.
Every attempt is part of your story to quit for good. Visit Kick It California today at kickitca.org.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where hate loses and love wins.
Kara James is my guest. She's a nurse practitioner at Planned Parenthood Los Angeles, and one of the real driving forces behind the Black Health Initiative of 2020. But as you point out, Planned Parenthood LA has been around for 65 years. You were really concerned some of the things coming out of the State of the Union address recently. And it's interesting because, you're thinking about Black Health Initiative, clinic in Inglewood, one coming to Baldwin Hills, Black communities across the country, and you being a big part of Black access through Planned Parenthood to all of these health services, right? From prenatal care to behavioral care and all these other things. Draw the line for me from the State of the Union to the work you're doing.
If we don't speak up, nobody else is going to speak up for us. I have to use my voice to empower folks, to empower my people. That's where my focus is. But if I don't say anything, nobody else is going to say anything. So to preface me going to the State of the Union, that being in the most powerful room in the world, where so many atrocious things has happened, was a gift.
Where so many atrocious things have happened. I mean, that's a good way of looking at it. But yeah. But so why did you say it was a gift?
So I got the information about going to the State of the Union. I was in Alabama. So Alabama, I was at an Lucy and Betsy, a conference that's this is a conference that is for reproductive justice and reproductive health care providers. And so this conference, Lucy and Betsy, are 3 Black women who were operated on by Marion Sims, a doctor in Alabama, without anesthesia, despite the fact there was anesthesia. He would practice and practice and practice and practice on these women and vaginally, doing these surgeries without anesthesia, regardless of the fact that they were in pain. And sometimes he thought they were going to die. And so to be at this conference, and so it was so very empowering. All the monuments and there's a lynching museum, the Peace and Justice Institute. So being wrapped around but with this information, but it was more for me to motivate me, the work that we're doing is so very important. So I'm at the conference, and it's nighttime. It's a juke joint. I'm dancing to Mary J. Blige, and I'm thinking backwards to how far I've come. I'm a high school dropout. I have been in hell and high water. And I get this call, and they say, well, I hope you say yes to go to the State of the Union. I boo-hooed. I cried. I cried because I'm thinking how far, where I am today, and to be able to have the opportunity to go to the State of the Union is amazing. So a week later, I am at the State of the Union. I'm the guest of Congresswoman Sidney Kamlager-Dove. It wasn't my invitation initially. Our CEO, it was her invitation. And she said, no, Kara should go. I mean, to give up your seat at this amazing, once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And so the focus of the State of the Union was reproductive justice. So there was a rally on the steps of Congress, and they had all these amazing people dressed in their white in dedication to the suffrage movement, but only one congresswoman said anything about Black women. And so everybody talked about people of color and BIPOC communities, but we need to address what what Black women. We need to have a face, need to be focused on Black women. Black women are 3 to 4 times more likely to die in childbirth. Black women should be the face. We should be highlighted because we are most impacted by reproductive justice or reproductive injustice. And so it wasn't what I saw at the State of the Union. It's what I didn't see. It's what was not the focus. And so that put more fuel to my fire, understanding why it's so important to use my voice and so important to inspire, empower, and advocate for Black women.
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting. There's been a lot of talk about how even though BIPOC is supposed to be Black, Indigenous, people of color, we don't separate out Black. We don't put enough emphasis on it. But when it comes to maternal health, women's health, it's almost impossible to understand how you could justify not, singling out Black women when we are so obviously suffering here.
Yeah, so that's what the absence of this conversation was. I mean, I'm in this room. Imagine in the State of the Union room, and I'm thinking like so many things have happened here that were against Black folks. And so we're talking about reproductive justice. These congresswomen had this power, their powerful outfits on, and their white, the suffrage movement dedication. But nobody was talking about Black women, and that was disturbing to me because Black women are dying unnecessarily across this country.
Yep. When you spearheaded the Black Health Initiative for Planned Parenthood and started a little clinic in Inglewood with wraparound services, as you say, and I'm sure you've seen women come. You mentioned the woman who didn't even know she could change providers even though she had insurance and was almost ready to have the baby and hadn't had any care. Did you ever imagine, though, that this would become a nationwide plan for this institution?
I am in awe of where we have landed, or this work that I'm doing, using my voice, having the opportunities to be in these rooms. It's so important to be all of you. When I come to the table, I'm bringing me to the table. It's too hard to remember, like, who was I when I came last time? Who do I show up as? But if I'm myself, if I'm my true, authentic self every single time, I'm going to use my voice. I'm going to make sure that I speak up and speak out. And so no, it's always when I walk into the clinic and I see the Inglewood Clinic, and it's like, wow, this is where we are. This is so phenomenal to have these opportunities to empower, to advocate, to be in this space is phenomenal to me.
Yeah, you're gonna impact a lot of women's lives, but also go down in history because it's an important initiative. For America right now and for Planned Parenthood in this moment and in the trajectory of the organization.
It's for the future. It's not just our life. It's our life, our children's life, and their children's and children's life that will be impacted.
Thank you so much. Time flies. Got to go. Tavis Smiley is up next. Thank you so much for being with us today, Kara. It was a great conversation.
If you're looking for anything, PlannedParenthood.org. You can always go there to find out more information.
PlannedParenthood.org. Tavis Smiley is up next. I'm Dominique DiPrima. Do I have time? Okay, yeah. I'm going to quote Jim Brown since we have him in common. More on that later. The decision-making process. Eliminate the negative. Establish the facts and choose your best option. History is now, and we're making it together. I'm Dominique DiPrima. Until tomorrow, I'll see you on social media, KBLA 1580, DiPrima Radio, and PlannedParenthood.org. One love.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
Thanks for joining us on a Wednesday. I'm Mike Moore. Now, here's the latest from the Black Information Network, Dallas, California, where violence